Nobody thought the Fever were going to do this. Not even the people that were highest on Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox. Nobody thought the Fever were going to do this. And we're seeing some crazy takes on social media that have ended up being some of the coldest takes in history. In in basketball history. Like, these are even colder takes than me saying that taking Scoot Henderson, or say taking Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson was going to be a generational mistake. Even colder takes than me saying that I didn't think Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark styles could ever mesh because Caitlin didn't look comfortable playing slow and Aaliyah Boston didn't look comfortable playing fast. These are colder takes than some of the dumb stuff I've said. I've said so much dumb things in this channel. But like, we've got the New York Times predicting that Indiana would strike out in free agency. It says, in a sense, they're the most attractive free agency. They play in front of packed crowds. And then they were like, well, people basically, nobody really fits and they don't really want to get no one would really there. And they hit everything. Hit on everything. And then this is the hilarious take. And by the way, we are allowed to make bad takes. I'm putting that out there right now. Just in life, if you're watching this video and you are somebody that talks about things on social media, if you're somebody that's posting on Twitter about takes, and you have takes where you can give your opinion on things, if you are going to gloat when you think you're right, you've got to be able to laugh at yourself when you're wrong. And that's something I've learned being in, not necessarily the media industry, but being in the kind of social media sphere for a while, is you're going to say dumb shit. You got to always learn to be able to laugh at yourself. And this is nothing. I don't know who. Like, I have absolutely no idea who this is. And by the way, sorry, these are all the takes. This is the worst take. Sorry. I have no idea who this is, but this is an awful take. I'm not going to question and talk about this person. This is just a terrible take. Fever fans slowly realizing no one wants to go to Indiana. We've been telling them all season long. I didn't notice off season's over. Nobody has moved so far. Nobody that has moved so far even makes sense for Indiana. And this is like right after if I'm not mistaken, right after like the Alyssa Thomas and Kelsey Plum move. This is even before the statue move. And no one will. Nope, that did not work out well. Obviously, this tweet. LMAO. Rebecca Lobo says, Howard is a great addition for the Fever. There's one strategic signing away from contending for a title. Dewana Bonner be perfect. LMAO. Dewana ain't coming to effing Fever. Dewana Bonner came to the effing Fever. So, we got to look at these responses here. Like, why did the Fever waive Grace Berger and not Victoria Saxton? I think they've got a backup. Grace Berger's on more money. That's a fact. Grace Berger is on more money. They're going to get another guard. Kennedy Card, maybe. I doubt it. I'm sure she'll be here either. Feel bad for Grace. I know there was a lot of fans. I don't know how true this is. I think if they waive her and somebody picks her up or something, it doesn't go against their salary cap. There's a reason why they did it. There's a reason why it was like, I really want to see what this person's response was. It's like, can you laugh? If this person can laugh themselves, even if they're wrong, I don't care. Silent. You gotta be, like, just, as the one thing I'll always say is, like, in this, if you're gonna make takes on sports, you have got to be able to look like the dumbest person in the room at times, because there are times no matter how smart you are, there are times, especially if you're stubborn on a take, where you will look like the dumbest person in the room for a 4-hour period. And then, obviously, as time goes on, people will forget about that. That's just the nature of the business you're in. Feel sorry for Caitlin haters. They're missing out on a lot of fun. Fever is still a consistent and reliable 3-point shooter for Clark to dish to. Sophie Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell are two of the best shooters in the league, and Dewana Bonner is a really good shooter. What? The team are knocked down. And they can go 4 shooters at a lot of times. They can go 5 shooters if you put Damaris Dantas at the 5. Everyone wants to play with the Fever. They swore nobody wanted to come to Indiana. Haters are mad. Like, fans of Caitlin Clark, like Ken Swift and others, were hell-bent I don't know who that person is. I really don't know who that person is. Like I just don't. I've seen that person before. I just don't care this stage. And they said no one wanted to go to Indy. Like, obviously, people did want to go to the Fever. That is a fact. The Fever's tried out in free agency. They not only did not, there's no third option. They can't cover them all. Like, that's the one thing I thought, and I was like, I mean, Caitlin Clark, like, she would rather pass than shoot sometimes. So, like, I don't know if that would really make that much of a difference. Like, you're still getting, because of the pace they play at, you're still getting your 12 shots a game. Like, you're still getting those 12 shots. I think there were games where, remember Christy Sides being like, we need Caitlin shooting this amount of shots per game. And I'm like, you are that dumb at coaching that you've literally said, we need this amount of, like, Christy Sides coaching was so dumb last year. She was like, if we hold teams under these amount of points, we win. I'm like, no, just score more than them. It doesn't matter what you hold them to, score more than them. Whether that's playing defense, whether that's playing offense, like slowing down the game to try stop a team from scoring, hitting some arbitrary points value is dumb basketball if you're winning by pushing the pace. And that was Christy Sides' problem. And Christy says, oh, Caitlin Clark needs to shoot this many other shots. No, Caitlin Clark needs to shoot more needs to not be hesitant passing when she's, or shooting when she's open, but when she's not open, she needs to pass. She needs to make right decisions. Who cares how many shots it says she takes on the box score? And Christy Sides was just, she's not a ball knower. She's not a ball knower. Like, in the totality of the sport. Like, as someone who has studied every freaking aspect of this sport in almost every different culture in the world, Christy Sides is not a ball knower. But, honestly, just madness from this Fever organization. From Kelly Krauskopf, Amber Cox, Stephanie White with the pull. Like, nobody, and I mean nobody, thought the Indiana Fever were going to pull this one off. Did they? Nobody thought Indiana Fever we're going to get we're going to turn Erica Wheeler and Alyssa Smith to Dewana Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, and freaking Natasha Howard. They used the contract of Erica Wheeler. They got off the 8th pick to free up some salary cap space. And now they have salary cap space. And people are like, oh, they've signed Jaylen Brown to be a point guard. She's not a point guard. Jaylen Brown is going to compete with Victoria Saxton and the 2 second-round picks for that last spot on the roster. They're not going to waive Victoria Saxton. The reason why they're waiving Grace Berger is that she's not on a minimum. Because Grace Berger is not on a minimum contract, she's she's a little bit more, and that $10K can be a big difference. So she's not on a minimum contract. So with Berger, it means that you kind of have to get rid of her, whereas the others can all fight out for that last roster spot. And if you're wondering about Christy Wallace, maybe they can give Christy Wallace away and give away like a 3rd round pick to like a team to just take Christy Wallace. I'd give up maybe a 1st to the Valkyries to just get off Katie Lou Samuelson. I'm not joking with that. Like, I'd be tempted to give up a 1st and Katie Lou to get like Julie Van Loo, which gives you money to get a backup big center. Like, I would potentially do that because the 2026 first isn't going to be worth anything. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. Nobody thought the Fever could do it, and they freaking did. Anyway, I'll see you guys.